So we're going to start off talking about our leisure skills and our objectives. So by the time we are done with the presentation, you guys should be able to know what leisure skills are, some examples of leisure activities, what leisure activities can replace, and where leisure activities can be taught. You'll also be able to learn how to establish activities as preferred activities rather than maybe over siblings.
Alright, so what are leisure skills? Those are the skills required in order for an individual to appropriately engage in a socially acceptable activity. In order to engage in the leisure activity, the individual must be able to do the following. Mand for the activity or request. I remember the word mand meaning demand for something, so I'm going to mand for the iPad, or I'm going to mand to watch TV. Additionally, the individual must be able to complete the activity once they're started, so if they're given a game to play by themselves, the individual doesn't just take the game and throw it, or take the game and walk away. They're able to engage in the entire game until finish. And then the individual, if the item or activity is so reinforcing or rewarding for the individual, they'll refrain from self-injury or aggressing toward others.
So many of us participate in common leisure activities on a daily basis. Depending on a person's interest and their motivation, our interests are going to differ. So depending on whether or not I like golfing and Courtney likes reading, or dancing and cooking, running, listening to music. There's multiple other activities such as soccer, horseback riding, and the others that we participate in.
Can anyone name any other leisure activities? Can be anything. Watching TV is a leisure activity. Driving could be one if you just like to go on road trips. So specifically with autism, a common characteristic of those diagnosed typically engage in very repetitious behavior. We would also call this stereotypy. The repetitive behavior can be stigmatizing, harmful, and then also non-beneficial to the individual. So examples of these behaviors include like hand flapping, body rocking, vocal scripting, and this is like saying things that the individual recently heard or has heard previously in the past, as well as lining up items in a row. Some of our clients, when they first provide services or receive services, they'll take cars and line them up in very specific rows, or eating utensils, like we'll line up all the forks. So with these behaviors, our goal is to replace them with socially appropriate leisure activities. So instead of lining cars up or lining toys up, we want to teach them how to roll the cars on the floor, making them go down ramps, so making it more socially acceptable and appropriate.
So why do we teach these why are these leisure skills important and why we teach them? Leisure skills are going to allow for independence. So individuals may be able to be left alone or unattended while parents or guardians are cooking dinner or taking care of other children. The more engaged that the individual is in the leisure activity and emitting appropriate behaviors, the less likely they will be to engage in problematic behaviors such as aggression or the stereotypy that Courtney mentioned previously. It can also help to serve as a foundation for multiple other social skills. So a lot of times we engage in leisure activities in a social aspect, such as playing on a sports team or being part of a book club. And then they'll be less stigmatizing for society, as stereotypy is usually pretty stigmatizing and allows someone who's been diagnosed with autism as being able to be identified.
Alright, so where can leisure activities be taught? Luckily and fortunately, they can be taught absolutely anywhere and everywhere in their environments, as long as motivation is present, just like any other skill that we teach with our kiddos. As long as motivation is present, we can do a lot, we can teach almost anything. So if the child has motivation to do an activity, we can do it at home, in the community, in the car, at the park, at church, at school, and then even at line in the grocery store.
So how are we going to teach these skills and activities? Initially, a skill or an activity may not be preferred for a couple different reasons. They may not have the motivation to participate in the skill, as well as they may not be able to know how to appropriately engage in that activity, or there may be an aversive history with that in the past. So at some point in their learning history, there may have been an aversive component to that skill.
Alright, so for an activity to be established as preferred, it may be necessary to first take the time to pair the neutral or aversive activity with something that's already reinforcing or that's already preferred. This could be with other individuals or with other stimuli. So for example, we have a ball pit in our building. So if a child is not wanting in the ball pit, they could be terrified of it or they're just not sure. If we paired the ball pit with their favorite therapist, with some candies or other toys that they like, the child may be more likely to ask for the ball pit just because we're kind of desensing them to it by pairing other stimuli to it. Another example, if an individual doesn't like to read, say like a first or second grader, if they don't like to read, but their friend does, we can make reading more reinforcing or more preferred if they do the activity with a friend. And then additionally, once an aversive or neutral activity finally becomes preferred for the individual, it's important to begin MAND training or teach them to request for the activity. It's also important, I wouldn't say we don't teach MAND training until this happens, because while you're pairing, you can provide opportunities for them to request, because it's just additional learning opportunities. But once it's finally preferred, the motivation is there for them to begin requesting. So teach the individual to request for the activity. Examples, we could teach the child to sign for iPad or simply say iPad. Other children, we could prompt them to say, can I play outside? Or can I have the TV? So when an individual requests for the items or activities, we want to start tracking or recording, or maybe as a parent just start mentally noting how much time they're engaging in the activity, and then we want to increase the time or increase the duration that they're engaged with it so that you can give them the activity and then you can kind of walk away while indirectly supervising them while you can kind of go do other things. So you're not just hands-on caring for the child. Alright, so then at first, while you're teaching them MAND training, you may want to take the time that they're engaged with the activity and terminate it just briefly. So if they're with the iPad, you may want to push pause or take it away just about 5 seconds or so. Have them build that MO or that motivation, have them request for it and give it right back. If you do that more times, that's just giving them more opportunities to request. So you're just providing more opportunities for extra practice.
So generalization is also a big major component within teaching these leisurely skills. So what we want to do is once the client is able to MAND or engage in these skills independently without emitting any type of problem behavior, we want to generalize it across multiple environments and settings. So examples include swimming. We may generalize the skill that was taught in one pool to multiple pools or any other type of body of water. We could also do reading. So the reading, we can do those in different cars. Maybe mom picks them up from school one day, the next day dad picks them up, and they're engaging in that leisurely reading activity in both cars.
Alright, so in summary, leisure skills allow the individual to be more independent and safely engage in socially appropriate behaviors.
Are there any questions for us?
How often are your leisure activities part of your daily program?
We do include our leisurely activities within our clients' programs here at BACA. As I mentioned earlier, we all engage in leisurely activities every day. So we're trying to teach these skills to build into the activities on a daily basis to allow our clients to have a more independence.
Okay, so hello, my name is Eric Kianowski. I'm the Executive Director at Loveway. Just out of curiosity, who's heard of Loveway? Oh, okay, I'm impressed. Good, Cool. I've actually only been there for about 4 months as the new executive director. My background is in youth development. People assume I'm a horse person. That assumption. I'm getting better. I really am. But again, I'm a kid person, youth development. But Loveway has a very unique mission, so I appreciate this opportunity to share it with you. Of the 220 riders that we serviced last year, and all of these riders come to us with a special need or disability. Of those 220, 57 were on the autism scale. Okay, so Loveway has lots of experience working with our unique kiddos who with autism. Loveway's been around since 1974. It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, but they've been doing this since 1974. And actually very, very good at it. We're located in Middlebury near Bonneville Mill. Has anybody actually been out there? Have you been out there? Okay. All right, awesome. You make my life so much easier. You know, I had some video footage to bring and show you tonight, but I left it sitting on my desk. So I apologize for that. But I want you to think about the kiddos that you know who are on the spectrum. What would happen if you paired them with the horse? Okay, so you pair them with the horse, and then you pair them with a PATH certified instructor who it is their life's mission to empower these kids to work with that animal to enhance their life. Okay, so you take this horse, you take your kiddo, and you take this PATH certified instructor, and you add a volunteer who is very, very passionate about being there as well, and they support the rider as they're riding next to the animal walking, and then also just the emotional support. Okay, so that's kind of, in a nutshell, what we're offering at Loveway. Okay. Again, we work with all special needs and disabilities. Autism is the primary one, but we love having everybody. Again, if you have a diagnosed special need, then we're happy to have you. We do serve primarily youth, and the reason for that is right now our horse herd, and we do have 18 horses as a herd, the maximum weight is about 180 pounds, okay? So that's really the main reason why we work mainly with youth. We do work with some adults who fall under that 180 pound weight limit. In the future, we're looking to bring in some bigger animals, increase the herd, and expand a little bit. It's a fairly small nonprofit organization. Again, we serve 220 riders in our therapeutic riding program. And again, therapeutic riding is taking a person with special needs, teaching them how to ride the animal, how to tack the animal, which means saddling the horse, that sort of thing, mid grooming, things like that. Okay, that's therapeutic riding. We have an equine assisted learning program, which is I would call it, we take older students, let's say high school, at-risk youth, risk who exhibit occupational defiance disorder, you know, things like that, and pair them with the horse. There's also a life skills classroom component to that as well. That's really not applicable to our friends on the spectrum. Then we do summer camps as well. Okay. And all in all, last year in 2015, we served 318 riders. Okay. So, you know, by Elkhart County standards, that's a fairly small nonprofit. It's a small nonprofit, but I would challenge you to find a more unique nonprofit in Elkhart County. Again, there are other nonprofits in Elkhart County that may be more vital. Their mission, you know, they're helping youth, they're helping the elderly, Council on Aging, Boys and Girls Club. We all know the big names out there. But again, I love Loveway because it is so unique, and their mission, and just the fact that if you walk through that door and you are a rider, everybody's intention is on you and making that experience just awesome, as best as we can make it. And we've had a lot of success doing that. So I encourage everybody who could take advantage of Loveway to come out there. For this service, 13 classes in a semester, hour-long classes. We charge, I ask you to guess, because the research that I was doing today, they're like, the one negative aspect that people had to talk about therapeutic riding, said, oh, it's so expensive. You know, you've got these big animals and you've got these team of certified instructors, and it's going to be $5,000 a year. That's literally what they said, $5,000 a year. At Loveway, we charge $20 a lesson. That's $260 for the 13-week course. We scholarship 80% of our riders to the tune of $89,000 in scholarship money last year. Our operating budget is $400,000. Okay, so 25% of that goes to scholarships. Point being, we don't turn anybody away. Right? It is a nonprofit. Our donors are awesome, and if you have the need, you have a rider who can benefit from Loveway, we're going to make that happen. Okay. How am I doing? Any questions so far? Yeah, great.
We backtrack. Several came up. What about a child who's never been around horses? Do you have something
Great.
to
I got a lot
introduce
in common
them?
with that child.
Well,
Sure.
who don't know if they like horses. They may fear. I mean, you don't know until you start, introduce them.
Sure. So 13 classes. It's not uncommon for it to take 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 classes.
I mean, not
For
everybody
that.
just wants to jump on a horse,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. And everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Again,
I couldn't
it's a
imagine.
spectrum. We deal with so many different special needs.
So
Everybody's
there's
different.
different classes to
Um,
introduce them, getting slowly into it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we really do. Our instructors are very good at tailoring to the needs of the individual rider.
So it's an individual, you just,
Correct. So,
if you want to point therapy-wise, then you have to consider that.
right, sure. I will say, for the therapeutic riding, in the mornings, we deal with school-based students, school-based riders. They come to us from local schools, okay? From the city of Elkhart, we service Marybeck, Hawthorne. Last year we did Roosevelt, I don't know about this year. Cleveland, Oxbow, Concord, you get the picture, okay? For those schools, those families, those riders don't pay anything, okay? We completely cover it. All the schools have to do is get the rider out there, okay?
So you teach them the basics of how to take care of the responsibilities and
Yes,
stuff like that.
Right.
So that's all
Right.
included with the writing lesson.
exactly, yeah. So it is a riding lesson, how to ride the horse, how to control the animal, how to maneuver it. But the first thing they do is, they, with the help of their volunteer, and under the guidance of the instructor, they'll find the animal, take it out of the stall, leave the animal tied up
So they learn
essentially.
safety.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of
that's,
people. Put it on the lead rope, and then they have a bucket where all the brushes are. They'll groom the horse, okay? Then they'll tack it, which means they put the saddle and the reins and the harness on the animal. They lead it out to the indoor or outdoor arena. They mount the horse using lots of different equipment. We have a safety harness that can actually lift people up and put it on the horse. And then they ride around, okay, for 20, 30 minutes. And they do sensory type activities, okay, lots of sensory stuff. So they play games, but they're also ideally engaging with their volunteer. They're pointing out what they see. They're communicating with the animal. Walk on means go. Whoa, putting back of the reins means stop. One of the success stories that I love to tell is, somebody on the autism scale. It took them, I think, 8 classes, but their first words were walk on. So they were nonverbal. They finally told the animal to walk on, and that was something for every little girl.
And you say you're not a horsey person. What do you do with the children?
I've been in Loveway for 4 months, Before that, I was with the Boys and Girls Club of Elkhart County. Before that, I was at the old YMCA that was the Youth and Community Center. I actually grew up 500 yards from here on Christiana Creek. Yeah. I went to St. Thomas grade school. I spent 4 years in the Peace Corps, got out of Elkhart, but came back in 2011. So youth development is my background.
Which means,
Um,
how do you apply that with this?
Sure. Well, I guess in terms of being an executive director.
Okay, organizing and
Yeah,
carrying
Yeah,
out and
sure.
making a program and.
running the programs
Mhm.
effectively and making sure that they're quality programs, but working with the staff, managing them. We do have a board of directors.
Did you have volunteers?
Oh yeah, 150 volunteers a year.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You have plenty to do.
And then fundraise.
Yeah,
Because again, if
fundraising.
there's anybody out here who could benefit from Loveway,
Right.
you know, we don't want cost to be an issue. Again, in 1974, Loveway was founded, and the original founders felt very, very strongly that the families who came to Loveway had enough stuff going on. Okay, a lot of other financial constraints, you know, whether it be, you know, with therapies and buying other equipment to support their special needs child. You know, they didn't want to burden families with cost.
Someone had a vision.
Right, exactly. And it's amazing, and it says a lot about the people in Elkhart County that to this day, you know, again, we scholarship 80% of our writers. That 20% are sort of those who say, you know what, this is a great service, we can afford to pay.
Good.
Why don't I pay for my child and the other child? I
Someone.
actually get that a lot, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, so, let's see, what else do I have? I obviously am familiar with the term autism, but measuring the impact that therapeutic writing can have on a kiddo with autism, studies just started being done in 2009, okay, so it's still a fairly new field, at least study. The study that I looked at that I gained a lot from was done in 2013, and it just talks about how the writers in this experimental group improved in critical areas such as sensory integration and directed attention. Okay, so again, if you know kids who are on the spectrum, I want you to think about what interacting with this horse and the concentration that it requires, and the constant attention it requires, how beneficial it can be. For a lot of our other writers, you know, who may suffer from developmental delays or, you know, just, gosh, so many other disabilities, you know, or muscle mass, things like that, they get a lot of just developmental attributes from, you know, the gross and fine motor skills and just the balancing on the horse type stuff. But autism is a little bit more focused on the attention and following through and again, that sensory integration and directed attention. Am I doing any questions here?
Do you have a minimum age?
Say again? Minimum age, yes, 4. Yeah, it is 4. Yeah.
Do you have a wait list?
Currently, we do not. We do not have a wait list. Again, it's school-based in the morning. Home-based, which just means the family brings the individual from home during the evenings. And then we do offer summer camp. And summer camp we do offer summer camp for able-bodied writers, and we do the therapeutic writing. And that's really for about 3 hours during a week during the summer.
So camp is not available for kids on the spectrum, especially?
Oh, just yes, it is. We also, it's the one time of the year where we choose to work with able-bodied writers. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. I think there are 4 weeks of therapeutic writing, and again, it's about 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Please.
I just wanted to put in a plug for Loveway. Our son is 30, and he's one of those that's just a little bit over 180 pounds now as of last week, so he can't go right now anymore until they get a couple more larger horses. But you will not be disappointed with Loveway. It's a wonderful program, and the volunteers are awesome. He's been going since he was in elementary school through the schools, and then we've taken him independently during the day or in the evenings for most of those years. There's been a few gaps, but so yeah, it's a great program, and the volunteers and your student, your child, get to be really close to each other. And
I actually started off as a volunteer. My wife was on the board of directors. I started off as a volunteer. But the really neat thing is every volunteer there, every teacher who brings a student to that class, and every single parent has a story like that. Just that the way that, you know, one of their kids' lives is impacted by Loveway, sure, but just that interaction with the horse. Okay, again, I'm not a horse person, but there's really something, you know, really therapeutic about that animal and the connection that the kids make with the animal. But hey, don't take my word for it. Come out and see us. Okay, that's just it. I will leave some business cards. I have brochures over there. I have scholarship information. I have the service application. Lo tengo en español también. Please, just holler at me and say, hey, I want to come out and see a class. You know, just satisfy your curiosity. Again, small nonprofit, but not a lot of people in Elkhart County know that these services are available. And it kind of drives me a little crazy when people say, Loveway, horses, it's far away, what do you guys do again? You know? So if you take anything away, just be an ambassador for Loveway and consider talking to people who may benefit from our service. Consider maybe volunteering. You know, we love financial donations, really of any kind, because again, it's going to go probably to a writer's family. But just knowing about, you know, the services that are available and being able to talk intelligently about it. So our primary partner are the community schools, okay? So again, our mornings are all community-based, or excuse me, school-based students. And I don't know if we did, let's say 162 school-based writers last year. And then at the evening classes, the home-based classes, yeah, those do fill up. Because again, it is sort of a personnel-intense operation. For every rider that we have on a horse, we need at least 2, ideally 3 volunteers. Okay, so you have a volunteer leading the horse, and then you have a volunteer, a sidewalk on the side of the horse, supporting the rider. You know, it's to keep them safe, because they do balance as an issue. Either keep them on the horse. Sometimes they have to actually hold on as they're walking, and then support them, you know, in that regard. So yeah, I mean, in an evening, I think we had maybe 2 rounds of classes, and each class in the arena is maybe 5 students. Okay, so if you picture our arena, you know, half the size of a football field, you've got 5 horses wandering around with riders, and each rider has 2 or 3 volunteers, and then you've got at least 1 instructor, you know, conducting the circus, right? So it's quite the operation. I will say really quick, all of our instructors, they are PATH certified. Okay, so PATH is the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. Okay, Loveway is a premier accredited center. Okay, so what we do, we are very good at. We've been vetted. We've been through a process. And again, there are centers, PATH centers around the country. Loveway is the 2nd oldest in the States. Which is pretty cool.
The second one?
2nd oldest in the States. Sarah was telling me about
Morning Dove?
Morning Dove down
Yeah.
in Zionsville.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with the one in Zionsville because we've had some families that are, or Zionsville and Fisher's location, take advantage of it. And we all love it and have had really good feedback, so that's why I wanted to reach out to one that I heard about closer to you guys, and Loveway was definitely something that was brought to my attention over and over again. But but it is neat. We do have a lot of our kiddos involved in therapeutic horseback riding on a good age range, and it's pretty neat what the benefits that they get out of it. It's something completely different, and obviously that's a leisure skill that we really can't have at Baca. No have horses. So it's nice to partner with something different. And just like Drew and Courtney were saying, there's a ton of leisure skills, and our kiddos are just like anyone else, having different interests in horseback riding. Just another option, which it's pretty neat. So hopefully you guys will take advantage of it. And you said there are openings now, so like if we have families tonight that they're like, yeah, let's do it. How long is the process to?
There are summer
Get
camp
started.
openings. I can talk about the openings at summer camp. The next round of classes other than summer camp that you would enroll would be fall. Okay, so fall 2016, August-ish, September. Again, with the semesters in the school. Okay, I will say I'm excited to be there for a lot of different reasons, but Loveway is a very healthy organization. We have a very clear mission. We have awesome support from the community. Elkhart County in general is going to quite the boom, especially in the nonprofit area. People love our mission, especially if they come out and see it. Okay, so we're going to grow. Okay, so if we can't serve you this semester, I will work with you to see when we can fit you in, because given our resources and our mission and our desire to grow, if we're serving 318 kids in 2015, let's say 350 in 2016, 400 in 2017, okay, because we're going to grow. And we're going to get some bigger horses.
More horses, more horses.
Yeah, more horses that I can ride. Again, I'll end by saying, well, thanks for letting me come out and learn more about how I can serve your kiddos.
Yeah,
Really.
of course.
You're welcome to come out to Loveway. Again, it's Bodyville Mill, really neat park. Loveway is just adjacent to that. It's in a really neat part of our county. There's actually elevation gain. It's neat, it's not flat. We have 29 acres. Okay, so again, come out, maybe see a class, meet some of the horses, maybe just wander on the property. It's springtime, it's a beautiful time. My contact information is out there. I'll leave some more information. Again, scholarship information, the application in English and Spanish. Any other questions? Cool, well, you now know where to find me. I'll end by saying I'm excited. I'm going to have to leave. I have a 13-month-old, but I'm excited to see that Shepherd's is here as well.
So my name is Angela. I've been at the facility since 2012 when we opened. I started as an instructor. I'm now the site director there, so I can oversee everything. I actually came out of the pool, hence my wet hair, and came straight here to you guys so I could talk to you. We work with kids of all abilities, all ages, infants all the way up to adults. We have autistic children in our school right now. We have some that have gone into regular classes, which are 4 students with 1 instructor. We also have had students that have done a one-on-one private lesson with an instructor. Our classes, we like to work with them at their ability and at their pace too. Some of our kids, non-autistic as well as autistic, they progress at different rates. So we want to work with them the way they need to. And we evaluate every 4 weeks. And if they're ready to move up in a level, we will move them up. If they need to stay there and work some longer time, we will. Private lesson, we can really gear it towards just what they're needing, whether that be a more physical aspect, that sensory in the water, needing to integrate into that. All of those things, we're willing to work with them however we need to. I know statistics with autism, they're drawn to water. And I actually looked up some, and there's 91% of children that wander from you. They actually have drowned in an accidental death when they have wandered. And 32% of parents have reported that in that wandering they've come close to drowning. which is really close to our hearts. We want to prevent drowning across the board for children, but with that autism spectrum and them being drawn to that water, it's very important for them to learn the water safety as well as how to support themselves in the water. We've had one autistic student comes to mind, was with his family. They were at an open house college graduate, and they had a pond, and the older kids were out in the pond. Parents didn't think that this little boy was going to go out. They were watching him, holding his hand, that kind of a thing. Next thing you know, he's in the middle of the pond, and he's floundering. With his skills that he had learned from us and the strength that he had, he was able to get himself up for breaths. He still went under the water. It was still scary, but he was able to sustain enough that his parents could get to him, and he didn't need to go to the hospital. He didn't have those things because he had that strength and that control, and his parents told us that that's all due to his ability in the pool. He does progress a little slower in classes, but we're working with him. He's in a private lesson with his younger brother, and we're working at his pace and progressing him and building that strength. Which is what we love to do. We love to get them where they need to be across the board for autism and regular students as well. We are always enrolling. There's no semesters at our school, so there's no perfect start and stop time. It's all based on availability within the classes. So anytime that we have an opening, we're getting kids in and shifting as they advance and things like that. So there's no perfect time to do that. With the summer opening, obviously we are pushing for kids to get that extra jump before they get out in the summer, but we do it year-round and progress them through. Any questions?
Adult learners.
Our adult lessons, yeah, we usually do that as private lessons because our classes generally, they're geared towards 12 years old and younger. So we would do private lessons with them, and we do adult lessons. Currently, we haven't had an autistic adult, but we have had other adults. But we progress in what they're wanting to learn. So whether that be they want more stroke technique, whether they never learned to swim, period, and we need to do that. We've also had some that are triathlon swimmers, and so they need some extra critique on that to speed them up, and we've done that as well. So across the board, we'll do whatever they're needing.
Daytime or nighttime for adults?
We do for privates or for regular classes?
Well, a 30-year-old autistic.
Okay. Usually our privates, we mix them up a little bit. We are open on Mondays and Tuesdays. We have morning classes and evening. And our privates, we book around our regular class schedules. So the pool's a little quieter. They're not in the middle of everything happening. So we usually do on like Mondays, I think 12:30, 3 o'clock. Tuesdays, I think we have a 12:30, 3 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock. Thursdays, we have 3 o'clock, and then we do 1 o'clock on Saturdays. Yes?
What is your source of funding?
Right now, currently, it is parents that are doing that. We have had some autistic students that have gotten funding outside. Honestly, my expertise, I don't know where they got that funding from. We are looking here in the next year or so to look at outsourced businesses that would like to sponsor students to be able to do swimming lessons. Currently, we don't have that, but that is something that we're looking into to be able to do that. One, for an autistic standpoint, but also financial standpoint for any of our students that financially can't do that.
What is the cost?
There is an annual registration fee, which is $30. If you're looking at private lessons, they do end up being $54 per 30-minute lesson.
An hour?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And you can book those as often or as few as you want. We have some that do every week. We have some that do twice a week. Or even once a month, or however you need to book them, you would just pay as you book them. Anything else? No?
Do you have open swim still?
We do. We do Friday night open swim. That is year-round from 6 to 8. We also open the pool during the school year. We open the pool Thursday mornings from 10 to 11:30. That is geared towards our toddlers, so that's 4 years and younger. So it's a little bit quieter, younger age group, but it is still an open swim.
How
How much is the open swim?
Open swim, if you're not enrolled in lessons, it works out to be $6 a person. And any child that's 2 and younger, they are free. But we do require our 2-year-olds or a child that is not potty trained to wear 2 diapers. The disposable swimming, and then we require an high play reusable cover. We do sell those at our facility. We try to keep 4T and smaller in stock. And then we have a company that you can order if you need a larger size.
And what did you say Thursday was?
Thursday morning, 10 to 11:30 is toddler splash time. So that's for kiddos that are 4 and younger. That cost is a little bit different. The family swim is per person. The toddler splash time is a parent-child combination. And that works out to be $6, but it's the parent-child
Okay.
combination. Okay. I will leave some information cards here. I brought some. They have our phone number, our websites, I think she also gave you the flyer that I had. So that gives you a little bit of information too on what we're about. But you can give us a call, shoot us an email, any of those things. Get a hold of us. All right. Thank you.
All right, so as I previously mentioned, we have someone from Special Olympics and Soccer Cat. So would you guys still be able to kind of give an overview? We still have time for this presentation, so Buzz, if you'd like to do that first. So Baca, this is the first year we really dived into pairing with Special Olympics. We had staff volunteer for the polar plunge, which was really exciting.
They were
So it was very fun. So I didn't get to go to the Warsaw one, but I was at the Eagle Creek plunge right north of Indy. So it's been great. So I'm excited to get more involved with Special Olympics. It's the first time I've actually met Buzz. We've been emailing for the past month or two, just getting involved, but a lot of our kiddos could definitely benefit from the leisure skills that have already been mentioned and Special Olympics too. So I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Sarah. Our polar plunge events fund our programs largely. The money that's raised is really the money that puts feet on starting lines and people in pools and that sort of thing. Special Olympics Indiana is a statewide organization. We're accredited by Special Olympics International. We serve nearly 12,000 athletes in the state of Indiana, children and adults. Traditional Special Olympics program starts at 8 years of age. We're piloting a program in schools that will be for children from 2 to 7. We also have a program in high schools that's called Champions Together that actually a couple of Elkhart County schools have recently gotten on board with that. Central, Memorial, and Goshen High School have started unified track programs in the high schools, which are actually a varsity sport. An athlete can letter for their school on their unified track team as a person with an intellectual disability. So we do a lot of different things. Our traditional programs, what most people are involved in though, are managed at the county level by volunteers. We only have 17 staff members in the state, and I'm one of them. I work from Elkhart, from home, and I take care of 17 counties in the northwest corner of the state. I work with our county programs on developing their program. Special Olympics does not charge athletes. Our county programs do not charge for participation. The county raises money. They raise money and they spend the money they raise. We have a system of entry fees that the county pays and all that. But that's done so that everybody does the work. Because 17 staff members can't raise all the money for 12,000 athletes. So, but that's a different discussion. What we do in terms of sports, county like Elkhart, I believe Elkhart County currently has 7 sports, aquatics, track and field, basketball, bowling, bocce, flag football, and softball. That's 7, yeah. Yeah, 7, okay. I think we have 7 in Elkhart County. Some counties might have 15. Another county might have 4. It's a year-round program. Each sport, we require 8 weeks of practice for that specific sport. Our athletes are children and adults. Our oldest participating athlete last year was 91 years old. And was a walking
What
athlete.
did they do?
Did a 400-meter walk
Oh, wow.
at 91 and went to summer games, which is a big deal.
Hey.
But
Yeah.
our athletes who are on the autism spectrum tend to do best in individual sports. However, we division sports. If you play basketball, and if you really got some game, if you're a pretty good ball player, you would play 5-on-5 competitive basketball, and you would be divisioned in one of 4 divisions based on how good your team is. And if maybe you have some physical disabilities, then you might do better on the 3-on-3 team. We also have a thing called skills competitions, where you still compete for ribbons or medals, but the competition might be based on just learning to dribble or learning to shoot or pass the ball. We also, for athletes with pretty severe physical challenges as well as intellectual disabilities, we have a thing called Motor Activities Training Program, which is a very heavily modified and assisted program that it's really designed to develop some gross motor skills in people that have physical disabilities. But we've got a lot of our county programs have golf, and actually Elkhart County might. I can't promise that. And we have some athletes who are golfers who are on the spectrum that are some seriously tough golfers. Autism goes together very well with swimming, golf, and track and field. Those are the sports where those athletes excel.
Non-team.
Yeah, individual sports, and got some great swimmers around the spectrum. And, but it's the programs compete at the local, one county versus the next, or even they're within their own county. If a county has 2 5-on-5 basketball teams, they might get together and play their own game. But for competitive reasons, we are a competitive organization. For competitive reasons, you are required to get a certain number of games with an adjacent county, so on and so forth. And then there's local tournaments where maybe 4 programs get together, and you might go to St. Joe County and have a tournament. And then there's a thing called area, which is the same as in school sports you would consider sections. And so there's 10 competition areas in the state, and you can compete at area level and then advance to state level. And state games, we have a state level event, our summer games event, which is about a half dozen sports. We have state basketball, bowling, and a thing called EKS games, which stands for Eunice Kennedy Shriver, after the founder of Special Olympics. John F. Kennedy's sister started Special Olympics in 1968. But the EKS Games is a softball tournament, an equestrian event, triathlon event, and flag football, and I'm missing a couple. And it's in the fall. So, there are several state level events. You don't have to go to them all. It's a big deal for anybody that gets to go to summer games. Summer games is, we have Indiana State University for Friday through Sunday of competition, and we'll have 2,600 athletes and about 1,200 volunteers that go down and stay, and while they're there, they have their competitions and movie night, a dance, opening ceremonies, all kinds of fun stuff. But the big thing about Special Olympics, to me, and my involvement, I've been involved in the organization for about 10 years. I've only been an employee since June of 2014. This is a late life career change for me. I was on the board of directors before, and what I've learned from Special Olympics is that persons with intellectual disabilities spend most of their lives around family members, paid caregivers, other persons with some level of intellectual disability. So when they get together, whether it's at Loveway with volunteer and horse, or with a coach, or a swim teacher, or anybody that responds to them as a real person, as an equal, who is not somebody that they just already know, somebody in that small circle. Something real magic happens, and that's what we do in Special Olympics, is we turn it on, and it's pretty cool. We create a lot of social opportunities and create a lot of change. It's amazing what our people can do. Are there any questions? Oh, how to get involved. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, tell us.
All right.
Now you gotta.
The long version of the elevator speech, and then the way to get involved. There's several ways. You can go to our website, www.soindiana.org, and go on there, and it says, you want to volunteer, participate, donor, what have you, right? You click on what you want. Then you can find your county coordinator by county. The county coordinator is not me. The county coordinator is a volunteer. In Elkhart County, it's a young woman named Shay Owens. And you can email her directly, or you can contact me and I will connect you with Shay. If you live in one of the surrounding counties, we've got the same deal there. If you live in Michigan, contact Special Olympics in Michigan if you want to participate in it. The typical way it works is track and field, for example, is starting right about now. First practices. Most programs have already had what they call their call-out meeting. Because the programs are run by volunteers, we kick off the season with a thing called the call-out meeting. Athlete and parent or person responsible for getting them there is asked to show up. This is so we can get a real good look at who to expect, what we're going to need for resources. If all of a sudden we have, a bunch of 9-year-olds show up and they're interested in playing basketball and we're a little low on youth uniforms, we need to start thinking about that. Or maybe we'll need another coach if we've got an unusual number of people interested in a basketball program or a track and field. So that helps the county program get it organized, and then goes from there. For each athlete that participates, it's not really a way to say that most efficiently. For every 4 athletes, there is 1 volunteer in all sports. So it's pretty volunteer-intensive stuff. Now, if it's a Tuesday night basketball practice and you're going to have 10 athletes there, we might fudge a little bit. We might only have 2 volunteers. But when it comes to a travel situation, a competition, we will maintain the 4 athletes, 1 volunteer ratio. And in aquatics, we have, regulations on terms of lifeguards and so on and so forth, but we don't provide the lifeguards, the facilities do. It's possible for an athlete to learn to swim in Special Olympics. Some counties have major efforts. Porter County has a real learn to swim program and a committed long-term coach that teaches it and actually filters people into the competitive program. Not all counties have the human resources for that. And I've seen Elkhart County compete in aquatics. I manage the Summer Games aquatics venue, but I don't know that much about the coach. But it's, that's basically how you get started. You just raise your hand and ask. There's not much to it. And again, there's no charge for it. The counties do raise money if you want to be a parent, a volunteer, and a donor. Nobody's going to turn you down, or if you want to help with fundraising. That's a big deal too.
I'm not jumping in gold mine.
Well, you know, but you can talk somebody else in. That's the thing. A lot of people say that, but you can go out and recruit people to jump into cold water. And I have jumped into cold water many times, and it does not kill you. It really.
She runs marathons. Yeah, that's what she does.
Well, you know, the first time I did that, my
And they
sister.
all ended up sick, that was the other problem.
Yeah, they did all of it sick.
All of them.
That we did.
Every single one of them got sick that week, next week.
The first time I did it, my sister is a physician. The first time I did the polar plunge was my first year on the board of directors.
Straight back at it.
And I emailed her up and I said, hey, I want you to sponsor me on this. And she said, well, I don't care about giving you money, but are you going to die? And I said, no, I won't die. I've been told I won't die, but no, we've never had it. But that is actually, that's our signature fundraiser for the state. But we do some other things too. And the counties raise funds in a million ways. And counties have so much going on too. You drive past a school on Saturday morning and there's a bunch of cars in the parking lot and you can wonder, well, I wonder what's going on in the middle school today. It may be a basketball tournament, you know, or a practice or whatever. And our practices tend to be 1 or 2 nights a week for 8 weeks. And the sports part of it is great. But it's everything that comes with it that's most important. Any other questions?
Yes, I have.
Sure.
Do you have opportunities for volunteers who also have disabilities?
Sure.
Like they've been through the program themselves and they're kind of mentoring
Oh yeah.
the younger?
We even have, we have a thing called our athlete leadership program.
Okay.
And we have athletes that are coaches and the whole deal. But our athlete leadership
I
program
would think
is.
that's very encouraging for many of them.
Yeah, twice a year, there is a thing called Alps University, which is the athlete leadership program. You declare a major. Over a period of a couple of years, you go to the Alps University event. You can be involved in public speaking, learn about technology, program management, coaching. I'm missing a couple. There's I think 7 different areas that you can actually major in, and after a couple of years you get your degree from Alps University. And we have people that have gone on and become coaches, been on
And volunteer.
county management teams, volunteer, sure.
Times and things.
Yeah.
Let's say they're very
Volunteer all the
passionate
time.
about
Sure.
tennis, but don't really have the physical ability, but still like to coach it.
Sure. Yeah, that happens all the time. We have Special Olympics athletes that do nearly, well, we even have Special Olympics athletes that are staff. And it's once a year, a couple of Special Olympics athletes go to Washington, D.C. and talk to their Indiana legislators about issues affecting persons with intellectual disabilities. Our athletes, we're all about high expectations. And that's part of the reason. You know, some people say, oh, well, I don't know. He or she is not very competitive. Well, the reason that we're a competitive organization instead of just go and learn how to do it organization, even though there is an aspect of it that's that, is it's a way to give us a measurable and to give us high expectations. And high expectations bring high results.
To learn a discipline to cope, really.
Sure.
In today's world, yeah, with anything.
Our athletes statistically are significantly more likely to be employed, to be involved in their community, to
They're not
finish
using
school.
disability as an excuse, they're using that as a challenge and say, hey, I can find a way.
Sure. Our athletes have a very high graduation rate, and it's because of the discipline that they learned in sports. So, I will tell you that it probably is not for everybody, but we've got a place, and we will work with just about anything. There's a lot of challenges sometimes with certain individuals, but if they want to do it, we can find a way.
They can outgrow. Maybe.
It's amazing what people can do.
Maybe. It's amazing, yeah, but you don't know.
It really
Yeah.
is. Any other questions?
Quick question. I am with Bridges of Indiana, and we're a provider, so a lot of times staff will bring people who are wanting to participate
Sure.
in Special Olympics. Is that a pro or con, or would you prefer the parents bring them?
We have staff members that are involved constantly. The requirement is that a staff, every volunteer, every Special Olympics volunteer that has contact with the athlete, or handles funds at a fundraising level, has to be what's called a Class A volunteer. There is an online approval that's involved. There's a training that teaches a variety of things, a little bit about intellectual disabilities, some things about proper terminology, some rules of the organization, some history of the organization, and also a thing called protective behaviors that is training to recognize signs of abuse. There's also a criminal background check that has to be completed every 3 years. And that's before you can be a Class A volunteer. Well, if a staff person is going to an event where they're traveling, well, if they want to volunteer for one, they can become a volunteer just as anyone else could. But say, for example, you have a staff person who wants to go to summer games as a chaperone, and is necessary for that particular athlete. They have to go online, spends about an hour and 15 minutes to do the online protective behaviors, the coach volunteer orientation, and submit their criminal background check. And then they can go. And it happens all the time. We have probably a couple of hundred staff people that go to summer games every year, and to other state level events. And the online thing is really, it's pretty slick. We used to actually have to do that in-person training, but now we're doing it online. Special Olympics has got a great way, the way our programs are structured, we've got a great way of being sure that the right people are involved with our athletes. And we've got a million different kinds of personalities out there as volunteers, and some of them are kind of old war horses, but they're looking out for the interest of our athletes. Anything else? I thought I was going to get 5 minutes. We stretched that a little.
Too much information.
Well, and I have business cards. I'm just going to stick them out on the table, and I'll take whatever's left. And there's also a general fact sheet about Special Olympics, and there's a bunch of R-word cards that explains that the R word is not really a word, so we're going to get rid of it. And you're welcome to take all the R-word cards you want. We hand out a lot of those in schools, like about a handful.
So my name is Kyoko. I'm the assistant director at Soccer Shots. This is Mark. He's our assistant program director. So Soccer Shots is an intro to soccer program for kids ages 2 to 8. It's a non-competitive program, and we focus on character integration as well. So each week we teach them a new character word. They learn about respect, teamwork, appreciation, sportsmanship, encouragement. So that makes us a little bit different than the other programs out there. Also, we are non-competitive, so we're not like just running drills with the children. They learn a new skill each week, and then we teach them that skill through a fun game. And then they also scrimmage towards the end, so they do learn how to play the actual game of soccer. Our programs are based on seasons, so we just finished our winter season, and then our spring season will start in April. I think most of our spring seasons are an 8-week season, so we base it on, we do $11 per week, and then we have a $15 registration fee that's once per school year. We do have autistic kids in some of our classes, and then we also will be starting a program at the Logan Center in April, so we're really excited for that as well. A lot of what we do is we go to preschools and do our program, but we also do what we call park programs, so those are open to anybody in the community to participate.
So our curriculum that we have is actually being aligned with the Indiana State School Board. So what we actually teach the children every week is similar to what the teachers in the classrooms are actually teaching the children as well. Simple things like following directions from an adult, counting back from 10, being given something and being told to go and do it, whether it would be a game, something like that. We were actually voted the #1 franchise for child fitness development in the United States, so we're very proud of that. This past fall we had close to 600 children signed up, and our kids love it. They really do. They, our goal, our mission is to, have that child, when they come to soccer shots, it's the #1 thing they do that day. We have no idea what that child has happened to them when they come, but our main goal is to make sure that, when they leave, all they're doing is talking about soccer shots. So we truly love it. We have a lot of young coaches. Most of us are I'm a student. We have a lot of other students from Notre Dame, from Bethel, Holy Cross, Indiana, IU. And like I say, we truly love the kids. We love the sessions. We get a lot of steps in.
Yeah.
My goodness. On a 30-minute session, I do about 2,500 steps.
Wow.
So this past summer, we just started our minis program, where we teach children age 2. And that's a parent participation. So the parents do have to participate. We give the children rules. There's 3 basic rules. If they can follow the rules, they'll get a sticker at the end of the session. And the rule #1 is they must listen to the coach. That's rule #1. And that goes, and we tell the kids, when you leave and go back to your classroom, who do you have to listen to? The teacher. When you go home, who do you have to listen to? Mum and dad. So it's not just about what you do in soccer shots, it's what you take out of soccer shots. So that's rule #1. Rule #2, they must play in all the games. So whatever games we have, they must attempt to participate. And rule #3, it's a tough rule. They have to have fun and they have to score a goal. That's all they have to do. And we guarantee every single child will get a ball and they'll score a goal. If they can do those 3 rules, we will give them a sticker at the end. And then at the end of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, they got a certificate and they got a medal. So sense of achievement. But no, we are looking to expand out of not just the preschool and elementary schools. Like Yoko said, we are about to go into the Logan Center, so very excited about that. And the possibilities of coming here, and coming to your facility and teaching the children will be something that, we would definitely be excited to do. So. Any questions? Price?
Have you started already? You did.
Started.
Yeah, the soccer.
We just finished off our winter season. We have 2-week break, and then we start the 2nd week of April. because the kids are about to go on spring break, so we
Right,
don't
right.
want to start during
Did you
that
have a
time.
summer program?
Then we do have summer programs, and we have summer camps as well, where we will be at a location for an hour. We also have our own facility, which is on North Home Street in Mishawaka. It's just down the road from Michiana Gymnastics. We have our own indoor facility there with artificial turf. And yeah, that's about it. Any other questions?
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for letting us come.
Thank you.
Thank you.